Ron, I know you have done a metric ton of deals, and those have been some hairy ones. Can you pick one out of your experience that was a particularly hairy deal, and how, if you guys were able to get over the finish line, and if you didn't, that's fine too. I'm curious about the ones that were jogged up in there. But then at the end, we'll talk a little bit about what are some of the do's and don'ts that and lessons learned that you got from that experience.
Sure. And we can kind of take it back to the beginning because all deals, the saying have hair on them, and there's something that's going to go wrong in every deal. And early in the game, I've seen people who had literally not a penny to their name, who took money off of credit cards, able to buy companies using bank financing. I have seen deals that the numbers were so bad on them that I can think of one in particular that took 18 months to close because it took that long to get ahead of, the numbers, which were so bad, it was unbelievable to finally get a bank on board with it. Bringing us up to date more recently, since Jason and I started, we had one particular gentleman that bought into a certain sector that he really didn't belong in, but he finally had the brains at the end to get this closed by partnering up with somebody who did understand it. And so, that deal was definitely going to go by the wayside. Now, some specifics though are like recently, for example, we had one that, in our world, there's a lot of people that break rules. And, there's certain things, everybody's gray. We don't care about gray. Everybody goes gray. That's normal. But when people cross that gray line and they go into the dark side, that's a little bit of a different story. And so there's one person we were working with that was making millions in profits. And, he was definitely way, way past the line. And so, in our position, we made it mandatory that every single buyer on the phone or in meeting him in person had to understand exactly what he was doing, because there's no way we wanted anybody getting involved in something that, kind of blindsided them. And so that one we actually had under contract with a group that it was interesting because this is in the skincare sector, and that group was a manufacturer that had him under contract. And the deeper they got into it, the more they understood, he was in an area where he could literally get banned tomorrow. And, we had many conversations down the stretch, and we found a place actually where we could kind of build some support around it where, there was a certain amount that came to the closing table, and then it was being released at certain times down the road. And it really was a tough deal to do because, we're very aware of how far over the line he was. So was the buyer, and the buyer actually needed a company like that because, they had no experience in the internet side or Amazon side. And so it was extremely helpful for them to be able to absorb a guy who really was killing it. So
Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell for notifications about new videos and interviews. And introduce yourself in the comments. Are you a buyer or a seller?